Hello, welcome back, thanks for tuning in again. So we've finally got through all the very basics of getting our vise and our tools together, and we've had a look at the anatomy of a fly fishing hook. So the first pattern I'm going to tie for you is a cat's whisker. It's the very first pattern I ever tied when I learned to tie flies. So what I've got in the vise is a Hanak 270 barbless hook. It's a heavy gauged wire hook, and it's ideal for a little mini lure like we're about to tie today. So the thread I'm going to use is a black thread. It's Vivus and A-toe. Now before I start lashing thread to fly, there's a couple of things I can do to help myself. I can add a little bit of wax to help bed the thread in, or I can add a little bit of super glue. And I'm going to do the super glue one. You just need the tiniest touch. And what this does, it just prevents the fly material turning once it's done. I'm starting my thread off about 1 millimetre back from the eye of the hook, and I'm using my waste end here to help guide my thread up the shank. As I get near the point, I'm going to take the waste away, and where I want the thread to finish is where the barb would be on a barbed fly hook. So another couple of turns, and that's about right. So I'm in line with the barb. So this is where my body's going to sit and my tail's going to begin. Now before I start putting materials to the fly, I'm just going to go beyond that point 3 or 4 turns, and I'm going to build a little bump at the back here. There we go. And I'm now going to bring the thread to the front. I'm going to stop about 1/8 of an inch from the eye of the hook. Now, the cat's whisker was originally invented by a chap who used whiskers from his cat, and he'd tie it in, and it would be to stop the marabou twisting round the shank while he was fishing. Now we can't do that anymore because the RSPCA would come and arrest us. So that little bump of thread at the back will help with that problem. So the marabou, I'm going to use Fish Hunter Spey Marabou. It's fluorescent white and it's a UV marabou, so it shows up really well in the water. Now I've already got a feather out that I've been using, and to select the right amount of marabou I use the pad of my left hand, so where the line is, where the finger bends to the point, and I call that a generous pinch. So I'm going to come in, grab the marabou and rip it straight off the shank. Transfer to my right hand, and then I can simply snip away that waste, and I'll be able to catch in from the front here where I brought my thread back to my tail. Not too worried about touching turns, catching the tail in, but I do not want it that length. You just end up with fish snipping at the tail. So I'm going to come in with my thumb and forefinger, holding it securely, and just rip away the excess material. So just to make sure that's in there nice and tight, up and down the hook shank a couple of times. Okay, so we've got our tail in. Next thing is the body material. I'm going to use Chanel because that's what I used originally when I first tied this pattern. Of course nowadays there's so much available to modern fly tyers. People use Fritz, Straggle Fritz, Mylar, the choices are endless really. So I've got a bit of Chanel here. I'm just going to remove some of the stuff at the front to expose the core, and I'm going to catch that in with my thread like so. Okay, bring your thread back to the front, and what you want to do is have about 1/8 of an inch from the eye of the hook. Now before I do anything else, I'm just going to lick my thumb and forefinger and bring that marabou out of the way. Then I can come in and sweep back any materials with each turn. So I've got a nice compact body, like so. And on my last turn, I'm just going to catch that in. 1, 2, 3. Now, before I let go of this, I'm just going to sweep as much back as I can and put another 3 turns in on the front. Now the reason for this is it makes a sort of stand, and there's less chance of you cutting away your thread, as I've done so many 100 times in the past. Everything back, and then give yourself a little tidy up at the front, and you've now got a platform to bring in enough space for your wing. I'm just getting another plume of marabou off camera here, and I'm going to again take a generous pinch. This time though, what I want to try and do is not have to rip as many of these really nice thin fibres off. So I'm going to kind of measure this one out. It just gives a lot more movement at that end of the fibres. So trim away our waste, give the end a little lick, and what that does is just make the whole process easier to work. Any stray fibres, get rid of them with your snips, then come in and catch your head in. Again, lick your thumb and forefinger, just helps. Sweep everything back and start to build your head. Now, before I do anything else, I'm just going to loosen off my vise, have a look. Happy with that. Lock the vise down again. Now, you can, if you want to use a quick finish tool and you've gone to another channel to find out how to do that, because I'm too thick, great. Get your quick finish tool and crack on. I'm just going to put 3 half hitches in, like so, and then I can come in with my snips and take that away. Last but not least, just get everything up, and there might be a few fibres, just get rid of them. Okay, we're nearly there. Now, I've already given this a coat of Sally Hansen's. Most people now use UV resins to finish their flies off. Well, I say most people, I certainly do. But you can use Sally Hansen's, it's just as good as it's ever been, or you can use proper fly tying head cement. Now, what I wanted to show you, and the reason that I've already got a coat on is the camera I'm using only allows me to take 5-minute videos, so I've had to split this across 3 different films. Come in with your Sally Hansen, and if you can turn your fly round, all the better. Just make sure the whole head gets the treatment. Now you're probably thinking, oh, but it's covered now in polish, and the eye's full of polish, and that's true. But what I've done is I've taken an old cock hackle, stripped off some of the feathers, I've run my fingers up to make sure there's no erroneous fibres or dust mites on it, and pop it through the eye, and that gives a perfectly clean finish. So when you come to put your tippet through, there's no problems. The trouble with leaving it and just using a needle to poke it through when it's dry is sometimes it can wear on the tippet and you can end up with a snapped line when you catch a fish. So there we have our first fly. I know it seems very simple, very basic fly. There's only two materials and it's pretty straightforward to tie, but it's a great fly if you're just starting, because not only it's easy to tie, but you will be able to catch fish with it, and that feeling when you catch your first fish on your own fly, you'll never forget it. There we go. Next time I come back, I'm going to show you how to tie your first river bug. Thanks very much for watching.